All right, back on the 150R build. So we got it running good in the last video. I don't really think I need to do too much to it as far as that. I think in this video, we're just gonna make it look good. And we have a couple little mechanical things we need to do, like the rear wheel bearings. When I do the wheel bearings, I'm gonna go ahead and get the wheels powder coated. We do need to get our new chain sprocket on there. Look at that. That doesn't even fit on there right anymore. So yeah, new chain sprocket will clean it up a little bit more. And these are all the parts they got for it. So we got some new tubes, fresh plastics. We went with pink for the back. Hopefully my girlfriend will ride this thing. Hopefully it's not too much for her. And then we got new fork guards and everything else black. So we got all new plastics, new push-pull cables, some grip tape I'm gonna put on the frame so it doesn't wear on the frame. We got new wheel bearings. Got some fresh grips off Amazon, fresh chain sprockets, and new spark plug, because I never put a new spark plug in it. Start getting these wheels off. Both wheels are off. And this rear axle was stuck on there. Look at this sprocket. That is crazy. I guess that's what happens when you use aluminum sprockets, which I don't like aluminum sprockets because of that. You don't get as much time out of them. But next thing we need to do is take the sprockets off and the bearings out. Thing we're gonna do here is pull the bearings out. I got this from Harbor Freight, a blind bearing puller set. This can be the one we use here. So this just, when you tighten this, this opens up and holds onto the bearing. So you can see here, I tightened it up a little bit. See how it opened up? Whew. Tires are off. Wasn't that bad other than it's getting hot out and the AC's not on. But the rim strip on this one's not too bad. And the rim lock, we might need a rim lock for this one. Yeah, so we're up. I was hoping not to do new tires, but I guess this one's not that bad other than the bead dripped a little bit here and there. This one didn't have any dry rot on it, but maybe I'll just use this on something else that I'm not as invested in, that I'm trying to be cheap on. So let's drop these off at the powder coater. Many moons have passed. I finally got the wheels powder coated. And of course my buddy who owns a shop, or runs a shop, has idiots working for him. And they did not powder coat in here. They literally just put a piece of tape over this whole thing. So I told him, I was like, dude, I gotta get these things done. So I just spray painted the centers. So that's why it looks a little shinier. But at this point, this reflecting stuff is really messing up the quality here. So let's put these bearings in and then we'll get the tires on. Okay, so this is a niche wheel bearing kit. It's actually pretty nice considering they're all individually labeled with part numbers. But I'm assuming these three right here for the back, because the back uses 2 wheel bearings on the sprocket side. These must be the front. And then I guess we'll just have to figure out what seals go where. Should only be one way or another. Took a little sandpaper here to the bore just to clean it up from the sandblaster. This is the bearing. Put a little lube in there so things cooperate with us. Okay. And then I already have picked out a socket that is the right size. But I left my hammer out there, I guess. Let's see if we can do a sort of 2x4 here. Guess not. So it definitely fits in there. Let's make sure this is the right seal. And it is the right seal. So now we just tap that in lightly. All right, the hardware originally looks pretty rough. So I got these bolts. This is just a bolt kit I got from Amazon. So we'll put those bolts in my bolt bin and we'll put these freshies on. Okay, so the original bolts had red thread locker. So that's what we're gonna put on here. Just for safe measures, just a little bit. In case you're interested in me struggle with this beautiful wheel and tire, here's a few clips. Okay, the back wheel's fitted up with new sprocket. And now it's time to get this front sprocket off. There's just two 10mm here. Should is the key word, but it's coming. There we go. New sprocket. This one was on sale. I literally got this sprocket for $2. Pretty cool looking too. Made 9 of 21. No wonder it was on sale. Boom shakalaka. Which it looks like this clip only goes one way. Yep, just like that. All right. I was originally planning to clean everything up more. And these fork seals are leaking, so I'm gonna have to take these off again at some point. But for the moment being, the fact that I want this thing to work, ride, we're gonna put it back together. All right, we've got a front wheel on. And of course, those bolts I put in don't clear. Next thing we gotta do is throttle cables, plastic, spark plug. So anyways, all that requires me to take the plastics off. So let's go ahead and do that. Spark plug socket. And then let's try this. Yes, I think that's gonna work. Okay, finally got that sucker. Here's the two different plugs right here. This one didn't look bad, but fresh top in, we should probably put a fresh in. Okay. Now we have to get the throttle cables out. So those are right there by the Kickstarter. And they're gonna be so much fun to replace. I can already tell.
Alright, where's the first one? Wow, this one has a game mode and the other one doesn't. I have no clue. Alright, there's that.
Gonna go right back through here. Phew! Okay. This extra jam nut is what determines which cable goes where. So this one's gonna go on top, it looks like. So. Okay, well that's just gonna get us to the next step here. Up top, all these pieces come into play. All right, I've taken everything off. My phone died. So I got the throttle cable on, took the subframe off, took all the plastics off, and I'm gonna roll this thing outside and we're gonna give it a good pressure wash, and then we can bring it back in and start putting it back together. All right, the bike is cleaned up. I did make a few unfortunate discoveries. The tube, I pinched the tube, something happened to the tube in the back, tire's flat. Also, the front steering stuff, bearings have a little slop in them. I might be able to just tighten up this spanner nut right here. That one. I'm not sure, but I gotta get the forks redone at some point. So I just want to get it, I'll probably just tighten up that nut and then ride it a couple times, you know, work out any other bugs we have in this bike, and then we'll go from there. But I did clean up the subframe a little bit. I did helicoil the seat mount bolts because they were stripped out, and threw some spray paint on it. It's a different color than the silver, but I figured it looks better than rust. So let's go and start putting this thing back together, I reckon. That's tricky. Wrong bolt. This exhaust is looking a little bit rough. I'm gonna go clean it up real quick with some purple power. All right, I've made some efforts on this exhaust, this muffler here, mostly on the stainless portion here. I think I can get new stickers for this. I tried to clean this up as best as I could with some purple power and a nice rag. However, you know, this is a used muffler. But I think I'm gonna order some new foil stickers, see what we can do there, make that look a little bit better. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and put it on. Definitely looks a lot better now. It doesn't have all that clay caked up on it though. That is for sure. There's that bolt. Maybe it is. Well, I decided we're gonna put some stainless hardware on these. Just have to make sure I don't snap them off, because that would not be good. And I would be pissed. Out here. Perfect. All right, I think the next big step is to put some plastics on this bad baby. I am gonna try and use all new hardware, or not all, but some new hardware. Especially like these bolts right here where the bolts go through, and it uses a nut on the other side. Nice. Why is this like that? Okay. All right, things are looking pretty sweet here. We do the shrouds. Okay, now it looks like we need to do the front fender. All right, next is gonna be the front fender. We gotta take these little spacers, I'm pretty sure, out of the stock one. Pop in these little stupid things. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of those. Oh, no wonder there's only bolts in there, because there's a broken bolt. You can see that broken bolt right there. So let me see if I can get that out real quick. File this down flat so we can center punch. Apparently, we have air issue over here. All right, here it is, out in sunshine. We didn't redo the whole thing, but I think it came out pretty good. I like the way the plastics look. It's awesome. I think we need to do a graphics kit for sure. I got the rear tire situated again. The one thing we have not done is the suspension. I definitely need to take the shocks off and send them out, the shock and the forks. And then while I'm doing that, I might as well do the stem bearings and the linkage bearings. And I'm considering even doing the swing arm bearings. But I mean, I think that's gonna wrap this video up for this build. I'll also throw some brake pads on it because the front brake pads are oil soaked. But check this thing out. This thing came out sweet. I mean, this is gonna be pretty much the end of the little series we have for this bike. But I'll do like a little update video with all the things I do to it. I rode around the block. I think I do need to do a little bit more jetting work. There is a slight miss or a dead spot, probably around quarter throttle. I did some research. They said there's a difference in the needle. This is 09, so it should have the updated needle, but who knows, it could have some sort of carburetor off an 07. Apparently 07 needle was an issue.